last few days of practice been, just getting adjusted to playing without Caitlin?
Yeah, just trying to figure out different rotations and figuring out how to play without her, where we can get scores from. Now that's a lot of points to make up, a lot of assists. So just trying to figure that out and get other people rolling right now is probably a good thing to, get a feel of the touch of the game.
What changes offensively?
I don't think much change. Just putting sliding seat in a position. Good thing is a vet point guard. You don't have to start from scratch with a rookie point guard. So she kind of just flowed right in, and she knows the play, she knows the call, so she'll be ready. She'll be ready for this moment, and she'll get the team where they need to be.
When you look at just where you guys have been defensively, is this an opportunity to really even double down on that end of the floor and really sharpen things up?
Yeah, for sure. I think that's what we have to. We're losing a lot of offense, so you got to kind of make it up on defense, and that's what Sid brings, and she's going to pressure the ball. They give us the opportunity in the backcourt to, get up a little bit more. So you got to make up those points somewhere, and I feel like if we can get some easy ones on the defensive end, then we'll be good.
Collectively, what are the kind of defensive goals, I guess, when you think about how you guys can improve?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, obviously, keeping people out of the paint. And obviously our fouls has been, very, very high these last couple of games. So just, trying to defend without fouling, trying to defend the three-point line, of course. But keeping people off the free throw line is huge for us. And that's kind of how the end of the Liberty game went. So it kind of a learning lesson for us. So hopefully we can carry that over to the Washington game.
And how would you describe your, adjustment so far and transition as you're kind of getting used to the system and the way?
Yeah, different. Just trying to find my ways. Definitely different from what I'm used to, in Connecticut. So just kind of trying to figure out where I can get my points, be aggressive, where I can impact the game, whether that's defensively, rebounding. So whatever I can do for that night.
Last year, I think you played in the Boston game.
Yeah.
This is
similar.
maybe a similar vibe, but obviously a much smaller city here. What do you sort of make of the league sort of venturing out into these new cities and exposing its product to new markets like this?
Yeah, I think it's great. I think it gives people an opportunity that can't possibly make it, down to where their original arena is, or even to come to Indiana to see the Fever play. I think it gives them opportunity to get eyes on us, and sometimes it's a little girl's dream to see this team and this league, how it's growing and the excitement behind it. So I think it's just a great opportunity to get different eyes that haven't been able to make it to a WNBA game before. Yeah.
Have you spent time in Baltimore ever before?
No, but I wish it stopped raining. We really haven't been able to get out the hotel room because it's been raining since we got here. But when we drove in, we're like, this is beautiful. It's kind of shocking a little bit. Not saying that I didn't think that Baltimore was nice. Let me take that back. But I just didn't know what to expect. So when we came, it's by the water. It's a lot of great restaurant shopping. But we haven't been able to get out. No sun's come out. So it needs to start raining for a little bit.
Some good seafood while you're here.
Yeah, definitely.
Good. Can I ask for one more quick one? When you're talking about just getting the difference between the sun and here, how would you describe what's different about this system?
I guess, probably personnel. I mean, we have different players, different things that players do. So just trying to figure out where my style, my fit is in here. And but if not, then I'm just going to do whatever I can to impact the game for that night.
What a treat for you guys to be here. A city that doesn't normally carry the WNBA. What are your thoughts about playing here tonight?
Yeah, I'm excited. I think anytime we have an opportunity to embrace a new fan base, and a lot of folks and a lot of kids don't have the opportunity always to get into DC to watch, whether it's us or whether it's the Mystics, and now they have the opportunity to see two teams in person. I think it's really exciting.
Do you know much about basketball culture here? It's a city that sort of prides itself on being a basketball city, in spite of the fact that it's an NFL and MLB market. In your basketball travels, have you encountered many players from the city, and what kind of impression do you have of basketball here?
Yeah, certainly when you think about Angel McCautry, obviously, and Angel Reese, and especially some of the women's players that have come out of this area, but a lot of players on the men's side too. Maryland in general, from a basketball perspective, they love basketball. Certainly competitive elite players who have come out of the area, and so for us, particularly on the women's side, to be able to have exposure for the young people, right? The young people who are striving to make it to the college college realm or to the WNBA, it's important for us. I mean, anytime we get an opportunity to participate in a new market, we certainly don't take it for granted.
What did you learn about going to a new market last year when you were in Connecticut? You went to Boston. What sort of meaning did that game have, and how can games like that help the league?
Yeah, it was huge for us. I mean, certainly a sellout in the Garden, playing in such a historic arena, in a city that loves basketball, and knowing that there is a demand for the W, in other markets, and seeing the turnout and exposing new fans to our game, to our players, to our league. Outreach is so important. We say it all the time in women's sports. If you see her, you can be her, right? And so for us, the ability to just expose new fans and to bring our product to people who might not be able to get to WNBA markets is important.
For the transition of not playing with Caitlin, how would you say things are going so far, incorporating Sid in that starting lineup, and what are kind of the things that have emerged in terms of offensive points of emphasis and what you guys want to do defensively?
Yeah, it's been good. I mean, Sid stays ready. We've seen that throughout the course of her career that she's ready to go. Certainly it'll be different than Caitlin having the ball in her hands and some of the things that we run, looking a lot to our off-ball actions, Sid knowing how to get other players involved, which actions can benefit those other players, setting a different kind of tone on the defensive end of the floor as well. So she's been great. I think for our team, it's now figuring out what do we need to go to. Oftentimes it's a default to just go into an on-ball screen, right? When you have Caitlin on the floor, when you have Kelsey on the floor. So kind of re-engineering, what can we get to get the same kind of actions? How can we get AB more touches, around the rim? How can we get Kelsey more touches getting downhill? How can we continue to work to get DB involved offensively? Those are all things that we've been discussing.
When you mentioned DB, what would you say has been the biggest, transition point
Yeah.
for her as she's getting adjusted? And she said, when I asked her, it was more so just getting used to the different personnel. I think you've mentioned, the styles obviously different too, but where do you see that?
Yeah, I think the pace, she's been used to in Connecticut. We were a slower paced team. We didn't have a lot of depth. We had a veteran team. Now these are young, fast players who play a lot off of instinct, and so have the freedom, in our offensive system to make plays and learning to read the personnel. Our returning personnel here, learning to how to get DB involved, right? How to incorporate her into where we are and what actions we can get her good looks, and to allow her to feel free in the offense, because right now sometimes I think she's second guessing because she's not quite sure where to go, and so that's on us as coaches. That's on our team to understand how to get her involved, and on DB to make adjustments. So it's going to take time. I don't think anybody expected with all the new pieces for it to happen immediately, but I think this is another great opportunity to try to get her involved.
Aaliyah, I know you're using her a little bit differently this year compared to what she was doing last year, but where would you, describe the growth in her game and how she's really been able to flourish so far? Yeah,
I think first and foremost, she's an elite passer, and so using her as a hub was a no-brainer. She sees the floor. She's an excellent communicator on both ends of the floor, and now for me, it's making sure that she understands that that's not the primary job for her. Yes, we want to use you as a hub. Yes, we want to use you as a facilitator, but we also need you to be a scorer. I think she's been much better at hunting those opportunities. As of late, we've got to continue to have her hunt those opportunities. We need to build in some more actions for her to get the ball going to the rim outside of just on-ball screens. We need to work in some opportunities to use her as a facilitator and score from different parts of the floor as opposed to just the trail.
Caitlin being on the sidelines, is she very involved still, trying to put 2 cents in or work with teammates about what she's seeing on the floor? How's she been just in that role? She's
been great. Oftentimes she's getting treatment and doing all the things that she needs to do from a recovery standpoint. But when she's out there, she's engaged. She's got high energy. She's communicating. We've asked her to just be around the coaches throughout the course of practice and in game so that she can hear our perspective, where we're coming from, the things that we're trying to emphasize, so that she can get a little bit more of a coaching hat, so to speak, and see the game a little bit more from how we see it. And so it's going to be a great opportunity. Nobody wants a player to be injured, and certainly we don't want to miss her on the floor, but it's also a great learning opportunity and growth opportunity for the players who are playing and for Caitlin on the sideline.
Is she the sort of person where you have to be don't try and overdo it. Like, get back on the side. Like, stop taking too many shots or anything like that? Or do you
Yeah, I mean,
understand, like,
she's hungry to be back. She's hungry to be back. No player wants to be injured. But at the same time, we have to think big picture. And I think oftentimes when you have high intensity competitive athletes, especially young ones, helping them understand the big picture and making sure that you're completely healthy when you come back, so that we don't have any nagging injuries. It's a long season, and we want to make sure that we're approaching it appropriately.
Thank you.
Have you spent much time here?
No, never been.
Never been.
I don't think I've ever been, no.
I know it's been raining, but anything stood out to you from your brief travels here so far?
No, not really. The bus ride, I mean, the raindrops on the glass. We had a nice view out the hotel, though.
DeWanna
See some
said
water.
when you guys were driving in that it sort of surprised her how nice the city was.
Well, actually, yeah, the art, I will say, like, the art, it was cool seeing a lot of the art, like, on the drive.
This is sort of maybe a little bit of a unique opportunity for the WNBA to venture into a new market.
Yeah.
As a veteran player in the league, what do you make of the league sort of expanding and bringing its product to a different city like this?
Oh, I mean, it's cool being able to hopefully garner, like, new fans, get people interested. I think one of the really cool things about most of the WNBA teams is, like, the in-game experience is really fun for people, and I know that's been a thing since I was young, going to Houston Comets games. Like, it's family friendly. You can take your kids, have a good time. It's hopefully inspirational to young girls, even young boys wanting to play pro sports. So it's cool to be in other markets for sure.
Do you want to go? Or?
No, that was my
You're
question
good?
too. I'm local. Yeah.
Good. Just how the last few days gone? I know Steph told us you're going to be starting. So just getting adjusted into that role. I know you obviously you're playing in the preseason game too, but how's everything going so far?
Oh, it's fine. I mean, same mindset. We got to do it as a team on both ends, and there will be some opportunities for us to work on things that we haven't done well in other games, and just keep continuing to try to improve and not be making the same mistakes over and over. So every game is a test. There's something to get from it in a win and a loss, and we're excited. Yeah.
Steph had said it earlier that you guys probably won't change how you play. It's more so like the different emphasis and like what you're doing. Is that how you describe like how things might look different out there? Or how do you see it?
Yeah, I think that we're definitely trying to make sure that we're focusing on the game plan more. There have been some games where there was scout-specific stuff that we weren't doing or personnel stuff that we weren't getting to, and that just can't be how we're starting out the season. We got to try to get the game plan executed, and if it doesn't go well, then we adjust from there. But we can't not do it and then just say it's not working. I think there's an extra focus on attention to detail for us these next. We'll shoot every game.
Is that more so on the offensive end, defensive end, or both?
Both, yeah, I think both. Yeah.
Defensively, I know Coach has really high standards for you guys. Where do you feel like there's been, I guess, room for improvement on that end of the floor? Is it what you just said? Or?
I think just our communication, attention to detail, knowing the scout, knowing what teams want to do. Just like people have an idea of what we want to do, and it's a long season, so you gotta make sure you're executing at a high level on both ends, because teams are too good to have slippage.
You were brought in to help bolster the depth of this team to provide veteran experience. When you look at the different pieces that you guys have to be able to make up for the loss of Caitlin for the next few weeks, like what stands out to you? Is it just that? Is it how everyone can step up in any given point? Yeah,
I think it's when you lose any player that's a big minute or big point, whatever their stat is that they do well, even if it's multiple, it's just time for everybody else to find a way to come together and do it all collectively. And so I think we're looking forward to that challenge. It's always next man up. And I think we have a lot of people on our team who, when it's not our turn, we're cheering and alert and ready. And when it is our turn, like, we're ready to contribute in whatever way.
DB, someone who is still getting kind of incorporated into the offense and the system. What have you seen from her? Like, how can you guys, help get her more involved more? How is that kind of process going, would you say?
Yeah, I think just she's been doing a really good job of, communicating with us, saying what she sees, talking to the young players. I think it'll just be on us to make sure that we're getting 2 and 3 reversals of the floor, getting touches for putting her and everybody in spots where they can be successful, trying to highlight people's strengths and not show their weaknesses too much.
Yeah. The Mystics are one more.
Yeah, sorry.
The Mystics are a team that have been in a lot of close games. probably better than their record, you could say.
Yeah.
So what stands out about keys for them going against them specifically?
They're young, they're hungry. There's nothing to lose when you're a young team that people aren't expecting a lot from, and so that focus from them is always going to be there. And so with teams like that, you got to make sure that you're, I don't even know if not outsmarting, but you just got to really execute, because you might not be as fast as them anymore if you're older, but you got to make sure that you're executing at a high level and kind of using their youth against them.